If you've been following Anthem news, then you'll know that the big topic this week is this blog post right here, posted by Bioware, which details the future of Anthem. Well, I use the term details loosely because there's actually not a lot here, which a lot of people are pretty upset about. Well, first of all, they highlighted here that the Cataclysm is coming to an end. This is pretty much the only significant bit of new content that Anthem's gotten since launch. It's not all that great, it's fine, but it's not gonna revitalize the game, and now that seemingly is going away, which is disconcerting. And then most contentious of all is the fact that the acts structure of the Anthem roadmap has been completely axed in favor of Bioware working on core issues and what have you. So if you look at the roadmap right here, you'll see that there are no more acts to be found. It's just updates that have been out so far, and that's about it. Though they did cite seasonal updates right here that are going to replace the acts, but no details as to what seasonal updates entail, what kind of content that really is. So I wanted to highlight today the community reaction to all of this because I think a lot of the unhappiness surrounding this game is perfectly understandable, and the messaging of this blog post is just, it does not inspire confidence, does it? First of all, we have users who have responded to Anthem's official Twitter page. One user said, "Nice, you have nothing ready after you remove the content you've added. This has become pathetic. I never thought I'd say this, but it's back to Destiny for good. Stronger together, eh? You're nowhere near us, let alone together with us." Another user asked that people look past the issues and enjoy the game that's there, which I think is an utterly BS way to look at this whole situation. And look, if you enjoy the game, that's perfectly fine. Good on you. Have at it. But for you to imply that the issues aren't there, that we should just look past them, pretend that they're not there, yeah, that's not going to happen. This is supposed to be a long-term game. That's why people bought this game, because of long-term promises. And all of that has fallen apart like a house of cards. And for somebody to say, well, you should just look past that and enjoy what's already here. Yeah, that's not what people signed up to Anthem for. They didn't sign up for a broken, incomplete game that was never going to go anywhere. They signed up for a long-term, invigorating, compelling experience that just never panned out. Another top comment reads, "So I don't have any news today to share about the long-term changes we are bringing to Anthem, LOL. So that's another thing. Anthem's Twitter page says right here, "Here's what's coming next for Anthem." The blog post's title reads, "What is next for Anthem?" And yet we really don't know what's next for Anthem. It feels almost a bit clickbaity in that sense. They talk about what's gone. The Acts stuff is gone. The Cataclysm is coming to an end. And sure, they hint at we're working on core issues and there's going to be seasonal events. But if you're going to say, here's what's next for Anthem, you're going to need more than these vague statements. You're going to need more than, we think you're going to enjoy the seasonal events. You need to talk about exactly what the seasonal events entail. Give us an example. Give us a bit of a timeline. And if you can't give us that information, then maybe don't say, here's what's next for Anthem. It's just bizarre to see them talk about how they want to be transparent and then say that they have no news in regards to long-term plans and changes coming for Anthem. How many times has Bioware said, there's great stuff in the works, guys? The fixes are coming. This happened during Anthem's launch, this happened after the roadmap was delayed, and it's happening now again after the roadmap has been wiped away clean. Let's now check out what Reddit users have to say here. So this is someone just pointing out that this blog post has happened, and there are a number of responses already in the comments. So one of the top comments here reads, "What's coming next for Anthem? I don't have any news today to share." Yeah, I totally understand that sentiment. I mean, things weren't certain enough when the Acts stuff was still there because Bioware has said nothing about how Act 2 was going to be carried out or Act 3 and beyond. But now with the Acts gone, this is the right time for Bioware to say, all right, here is the groundwork for what's coming next. And I get that they want to wait until maybe they have more content developed and they have things to show before they really lay out something, but there's just too little here in this blog post. There's just nothing here. A lot of people are making fun of the "we're listening" statement that we tend to see a lot when companies screw up. So right here, you can read, "We hear your concerns on core issues in Anthem and are acting on it." You know, if Bioware thinks this is the level of communication that needs to exist right now, then they're not really listening. They're not understanding just how dire the state of the game is. They're not understanding that the community needs some kind of light at the end of the tunnel. And that was the acts before, but with that gone, people are just waving their arms in the dark at this point. Here's another popular response that reads, "A blog post to tell us what's next without telling us anything. That is next level transparent." Well, it told us that all remaining acts are cancelled. There's that. And then the response there was just what the community needed. All perceived future content is now cancelled. Another user expressed similar sentiments in the same paragraph. "We want to be transparent with you that we know more work needs to be done to make Anthem better, so I don't have any news today to share about the long-term changes we're bringing to Anthem." They can be transparent that Anthem needs fixing, but not what needs fixing. Just saying like, here's where we messed up would go a long way, because that would give people some idea as to what Bioware is focused on, but they're not even talking about what they perceive to be their mistakes, so we don't know if they're actually even fixing the right mistakes. Now here's one user who made a really good point. "A moment of clarity realizing that promising a roadmap is dumb for an unfinished, broken game. Here's an idea, have things ready or near ready for a roadmap instead of selling unfinished games that are tied to the nebulous promise of more content later." See, that's the thing about live services nowadays. It's a gamble to spend $60 or more if you buy higher editions on these live services, because you're relying on developers to not face any issues along the way and to adhere to that roadmap. But more often than not, these roadmaps get derailed quite a bit because of unforeseen circumstances. And these live services tend to launch as frameworks rather than a complete product. A framework that they can eventually mold into a complete product rather than something that is already complete from the get-go. And that leaves a lot of room for people to have to wait a year, 2 years maybe, before the game is in any kind of state where it feels like it is fully fleshed out. And in the case of Anthem, we have to wait a year from the game's launch before the game is functional on a basic level. That's the gamble you're taking whenever you're investing in these AAA live services that are launched incomplete. Live services these days are more early access than anything. There are games that are still in development that are advertised as a finished product and that show a roadmap of essentially what is the studio's development cycle. And then here's a user talking about the difference between Anthem and Destiny. This post reads, "Anthem vision of future versus Destiny vision of future is the most extreme difference I've ever seen in two games with 10-year plans. Anthem plus Bioware, we have no news to share, but we hear your feedback and want to improve the game. Also, we're removing all of our acts because we really do not have any vision on what to do. Destiny plus Bungie, see our 10-minute video documentary showing changes in our passion for this game. We don't have full specifics for everything we're doing, but we have ideas that we're sharing to the community and plan to roll out incremental steps over the next 3 seasons of content." Now, one could argue at this point, well, Destiny's had longer to get to this point, but just because Destiny struggled to get to where it is now in a much better state doesn't mean every live service has to go through that process. Live services should learn from the mistakes of these other developers and studios and publishers and create a live service that kicks off running right from launch date. Destiny has already established what a good live service can look like, so Anthem should have taken that knowledge and then kind of taken it to the next level instead of taking steps backwards. This Reddit post continued, "I made a post a few weeks earlier about being worried Bioware has not shared any specifics for what comes next after Cataclysm. Well, the blog post just confirmed most of the community's worries. There is not a good plan for the game still, 6+ months after release of this live service, 10-year plan game, and there is no roadmap to show. This is scary for the longevity of this game. I don't expect that these seasonal updates will even be on the level of the Cataclysm, which by itself is relatively middling in terms of content addition. I think that for a couple months, they're just going to trickle in little bits of content through seasonal updates, and then only once the core issues are fixed, whenever that may be, if that even pans out, only after that will BioWare have the time to start working on tangible, high-level content updates on the level of like Taken King from Destiny or something. If BioWare's intention with this blog post was to inspire confidence to a community that is disillusioned for good reason, this ain't it, Chief. This actually achieved the opposite effect. The vagueness of it all just says we actually have nothing, but we're gonna make assurances, as we have done in the past, assurances that didn't pan out in the past. So I don't know how they expect people to believe that these promises will pan out down the line, when these promises are even vaguer than the ones they have made previously. So yeah, I don't know. These are one man's take on the situation, and this is pretty much what the community sentiments currently are. Let me know in the comments below what your take is on the blog post here, whether you think this could signal good tidings, given that at the very least they're taking the time to fix the core game and maybe things can eventually get good, or do you think there's no time left for BioWare, that time's running out, and that there isn't much of a path for recovery? Let me know your take in the comments below, and to be further updated on all things gaming news, reviews, and discussions, stay tuned right here on Yong Yeah. I'll see you guys next time. Yong out.